Hello and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. On this show, through analysing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you your superpowers, what makes you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. Your life would be a failure if it didn't show you that you had issues. Because if you didn't know you had issues, you wouldn't know what to work on and why you're here. To get your dream analysed on my show, go to dream-analysis.com, fill in the form, and I take it from there. That's it. That's all you have to do. You can also go to the same page on my website where you submit a dream and ask to get notified about upcoming shows. And I will email you as soon as they're posted to the archives. But you can go to the main page and download my dictionary too and try to figure out what your own dreams mean. Either send them into the show and see if you get the same analysis as me, or just try them out on your own. It's all good. It's all fun. You will all learn something about yourself. So I just started my Healing Childhood Trauma course over the weekend. I feel like I squeezed 2 months into the last 2 weeks in the run up to it. But after a blood transfusion, I'm right as rain and ready for today to showcase your dreams. What do they mean? What else is happening? Well, nobody seems to like the idea of me changing the name of the show to, well, so what does this dream mean anyway? Not one person has voted for it, so I haven't changed it yet. I did a Halloween special on Beyond 50 Radio, and in keeping with the Halloween theme, we talked about prophecy and dreams and all the doom and gloom that was in those. That's what they wanted to do. And that's depressing, but it's not for what you think. It is depressing because the first time I was on Beyond 50 Radio, I was on it plenty of times, I was helping those poor old folks out from my 40s. I was being nice and working with those much older folks who were beyond 50. And now doing their show again reminded me that the show is now for my age category. And that's just wrong. A funny thing did happen though. Due to unforeseen technical issues in the studio, the show didn't air on the intended date. We had to delay it. It still went out for Halloween, so don't worry. But did you get it? A show about prophecy had unforeseen technical issues. You couldn't write this stuff. That doesn't look good on your resume, you know. Last week we had April Angel on the show. She teaches people how to interpret their dreams just like what I do. She does that on my university level course. Her partner in arms is Holly Beatros, who also teaches people how to be just like me. What a wonderful occupation that must be. Bam, you're a clone. Bam, you're a clone. Next, bam, you're a clone. Taking over the world of dreams, one mini-me at a time. Actually, Holly has the honor of coming up with the concept of my university level course, and she joins me live now via the internet. Holly, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Michael. Fun to be here.
How are you liking teaching on this course, and how do you feel about being the person who wouldn't stop pushing for it until it was a reality?
Well, I'm really grateful that it finally worked. I'm not used to pestering people so much for things, but I loved the dream stuff so much that I'm so grateful that even though it took, I think, over a year, that this course is finally here. And coaching it is so fun. It's both taking the course, getting to learn how to really dig into dreams the way that you do, and then work with people to help them, coach them through dreams. It's just, it's pretty much the best thing ever.
Cool. Well, part of a course is you work the students through dreams and help them understand sometimes complex concepts. And although they'd probably say always difficult concepts. But you had one dream that I thought was really interesting because I had a terrific pun. And I thought it would be great to have that one on the show, especially because now we're visual again on YouTube. And you could run through basically how you did it with the students in the class. Of course, you're getting interaction from the students, but it's still an interesting dream to do on the show. So let me just get it up on the screen so people can see it, and you can take it from there. So we have it
all
here.
Right. Yeah, so this dream is from a dear friend of my husband's. And like you said, it is an interesting dream. And when I first heard it, when I first heard it, I was like, what does that mean? He titles it Legs Turning into Lettuce. So I'm going to read it here. I dreamt that I woke up and noticed my bed was in the clouds. I was laying on top of a red, black, and white plaid blanket. I looked down at my legs and was shocked to notice that each was transforming into a head of romaine lettuce, the red and or the green and reddish purple kind. I was scared for a moment, then shrugged and thought to myself, well, from dust I came and to dust I will return. It's all natural. So that's the dream. It's pretty short and a little bit
It
strange,
is.
but
And when you showed it to me, I was the same. I was like, what? What's the lettuce?
I know it, but
I,
it made me
I,
more eager to dig in.
yeah, to get it figured out. Yeah, I
Mhm.
enjoy that. You get a dream, you don't understand it, and you know you're going to. So, I mean, that's the beauty of it. You know
Mhm.
you're going to figure it out, and then it's really cool to share that interpretation with whoever the dreamer is. So,
Mhm.
do you want to run through how you broke it down, or what way did you do it first? Did you summarize it and then break it down?
Yeah, I usually start by just kind of laying out my preliminary thoughts. So I like to get a general feel of the dream and the overall plot before I dive too much into the details. And for this dream, my high level thought process looked something like this. Okay, he wakes up and his bed is in the clouds. Okay, good. He's aware on some level, and this is something spiritual. He's on a blanket. Blankets. That's security. Not so good. Legs turning into heads of romaine lettuce. Oh, that's funny. Lettuce seems positive, maybe healing, but why romaine and lettuce legs? That doesn't sound so good. He's scared. That seems appropriate. I'd freak out too. But then he says, from dust I came, and to dust I'll return. And that statement seemed awfully dramatic. Like something made me uneasy about it. It's what people say at funerals. So that just really stood out to me. So basically, like when I just summarized it in my head before digging in more, it's like there's something spiritual going on here. Then something weird happens with this guy's legs. And at the end, he's saying dramatic end of life type stuff.
All right. And did you share earlier this guy's circumstances?
I will when I get in, or I could go into it now, actually, if
All right.
that's
I just didn't
easier.
want to give it away because you might have time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
When
right.
we
So
put
do
it
you
in context.
all right. So do you want me to run the builds?
Yeah, let's do that now. So this is where I start breaking the dream into sections. And several aspects of the dream tell us right away that this is a spiritual dream, which is waking up, the bed, and the high elevation. So waking up is a positive symbol that shows you're spiritually awake about your life. The bed is spiritual because you astral travel when you sleep. And the high elevation, or basically the bed in the clouds, is associated with the spirit world. And now let's look at the symbols that show us the problem that the dreamer is dealing with. And these are laying down, the blanket, and the dust statement. So laying down isn't always a bad thing, but it's a negative symbol in this dream, which I'll explain more in a second. And then the blanket, kind of like I said, is a symbol about self-protection. And the color combination and pattern of the blanket are going to tell us more too. Now, before I explain those symbols more in depth, here's where I'd like to provide a little context about the dreamer. And this dreamer is an undocumented immigrant who's been in the United States for 20 years and has had tough break after tough break. And he's really having difficulty getting by. He's gotten worn down, really bitter about life, and he's making one last effort to have life work here. And if that fails, he's going to quite reluctantly return to his home country. So with that in mind, let's take a closer look at those symbols that I just mentioned. So we have lying down on the bed, and this is symbolic of him taking life lying down and giving up on life. He's flat on his back, exposed. And the blanket, so he's laying on top of this plaid blanket, which, so blankets again are security. And we know the dreamer is fearful, but in this case, it's worse than that. He says, from dust I came, and to dust I shall return. Like that is significant, dramatic. That's something we associated with death and funerals. So this is showing us that he is beyond fear. Like he's not even under the blanket trying to protect himself anymore. It's a resigned sort of whatever happens, happens sentiment that shows he's giving up. Like, take me, I don't care. My legs are lettuce, whatever. Now, I mentioned the colors and the plaid pattern of the blanket. So plaid is a pattern full of squares. So this indicates his feelings of restriction or limitation and being boxed in, which you probably can imagine an undocumented immigrant feeling. The colors of the blanket are red, black, and white, and we can pair those up several ways. So black and white together reflects the dreamer's tendency to see his situation in black and white terms. And again, this is rather understandable given his legal situation and the current political climate. Red and black together indicates anger, and the dreamer is certainly angry about his situation and his limitations. But the red and white together, now this is a very positive color combination, and it's designed to restore joy and hope to the dreamer. And this leads us to two other healing elements that are shown in the dream. And these include the high location of the bed, which is attempting to raise his vibration, and legs turning to lettuce. So this is a pretty funny and strange symbol, and it might not seem to make sense at first. So let's break it down. Legs are the support for the body and what you use to move forward. And we've seen that the dreamer is resigned and taking life lying down. Lettuce is a food, and therefore a healing symbol designed to heal his feelings about his ability to support himself and move forward. And it also tells us he's a healer. Now, the dreamer specifically points out romaine lettuce. And I knew this was significant, but it stumped me for a while. And it turns out that this is a pun, and it's a pun that's easier to get if you've heard bad vegetable jokes in the past. But basically, if you switch the two words, so change romaine lettuce to lettuce romaine, maybe you can hear the pun. So lettuce romaine, or really remain. So basically, it's remain here, stay here in life, and don't give up. And if you think about it, although the lettuce is designed to heal him, it's a healing element, you can't do a whole lot with legs made of lettuce. So the lettuce legs are telling us, he's not leaving or walking away. He is meant to be here, whether he likes it or not. Now, if that's not enough lettuce symbolism for you, there's more. We have a head of lettuce and the green and reddish purple color of the lettuce. So the combination of the head of lettuce and the green color is the head and heart pairing that we often see in dreams. So he's being invited to stop thinking about his life in terms of his limitation, like the squares and plaid when he looks at his options, and to live life from his heart. And the reddish purple or violet color of the lettuce is there to heal the stress and to bring peace. So to tie it all together, the dream is trying to presence the dreamer to his negative view of life that's holding him back and to restore his hope in his future. The dream both provides healing and shows him the path to healing himself, which involves raising his vibration, living from his heart, and not viewing life in such rational and black and white terms. So a very moving dream, and as we often see, like so much symbolism packed into just a few sentences, which is what I find so magical about analyzing dreams.
Yeah, it's a terrific dream, especially because of the pun. I mean, it makes it like everybody on the course clapped when you told them what that part meant, which was pretty funny. But because everybody's trying to get it as well, But every dream has a pun, and I love how you say if you've heard bad vegetable jokes, then you're going to get this one. But, all joking aside, it does show the plight of the dreamer and really brings it home, how difficult it must be for somebody in his predicament. And the dreams always talk about from your perspective. And here, this is, even though you say he's probably going to stay in the country, because this dream shows him giving up so much. And we know that your thoughts create your reality. Giving up is the wrong thing for this person to do, because then he could end up going home, and it isn't what he wants to do. It's not where his home is anymore.
Right. Yeah. At least 20 years.
Yeah. Very long time. All right, Holly, delighted to have you on the show. Thanks for sharing the dream. And if you get any other really good ones like that, we'll have you back.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks, Michael.
Take care. Bye. All right. That was great. Now let's do some more of your dreams. This one is from Donna. She's, I asked her because of the theme of the show, the dream, it's about X Factor and so on. And because of that theme, I asked her, do you sing or have any connection with singing? And my second question is, what do you think of the show X Factor? And her answers are, I used to sing in cover and party bands for many years, but stopped for 14 or 15 years. I wrote and recorded some songs with a producer about 5 years ago, but haven't done anything with singing since then. Her second answer, I like the show X Factor. It's good entertainment. I usually watch it when we have it here in Denmark. I was considering going for an audition this year and last year, but I also think It's a huge pressure. Note that, the huge pressure. And I'm not sure if I want to be judged or exposed on national TV. So she's given away. The judged is one thing. The exposed is fine, wouldn't it be? I'm 48 years old and not sure about participating because I haven't sung in public for 15 years. But part of me thinks it would be exciting, or at least to start to sing again and be on stage. Okay. Thanks very much for the feedback. And here is the dream. Of course, name changed to protect the guilty. So Donna says, I am chosen to participate in an X Factor live show on TV, but I have been sick or maybe delayed somehow, so I haven't been in the program from the beginning and thus haven't prepared a song for the live show. The show is tonight. I have a dilemma. Should I go on stage, take the chance and perform a song? Yes, is the answer, by the way. Or should I ask for a postponement of my performance to the day after? Then I could prepare all night and perform tomorrow. Well, wouldn't that be great? That's the thing. We're never prepared for what it is we're meant to do in life. We can do all the training we want, but preparation is a different thing. You still feel like whenever you do whatever it is for the first time that you're hanging out in the wind, and it's just how it is. So because you have been interested in the X Factor before, it's a very good symbol for you to have in your dreams. But it can mean anything, because it could be about you pushing yourself beyond your current borders. They choose the name X Factor because people who have a special talent, it's called the X Factor. They have that X Factor. And so it means that because you're selected, you're chosen, it means that your higher self is saying that you have an X Factor. What is that? It could be singing, but it could be something else. But you still have it. That's what your higher self has said because you've been chosen. But you are the one who is deciding that you're not ready to do this, whatever this is. And you're looking for the postponement. Continuing on with your dream. There's a suggestion that I could sing the song One by U2. And that's a pun on being yourself and also a pun on one. But I've never sung this song before. I don't know the lyrics and I don't know what to sing otherwise. Well, that's crazy. You're a singer, so obviously you know lots of songs. So it is interesting that you're picking this song One by U2, which is all about getting closer with somebody, trying to get over issues and so on. And so that's what you need to do. So normally I would say singing is about channeling, but because you're a singer, for you, it's really about pushing you outside of your comfort zone, outside of the fact that you feel difficulty when you're under pressure. You're happier to be alone than you are to be in the spotlight and possibly be criticized. Let's continue on with your dream and we'll see how the dream says that to us. So you say, I am already in the studio with other singers and I walk to a dressing room which is for singers/actors. Okay. So that's channeling. Actors are definitely channeling. Did you ever act? If you did, well, then we can ignore that. But in this case, it's back to channeling. But again, pushing you in an area, out into an area that you're able to do, but you just hold yourself back. You say, I need to be alone in order to make a decision. See, there's that I need to be alone. And so that's an issue that you've got to deal with. Something makes you want to be alone. It's usually birth. It's usually feeling like you weren't wanted or feeling like you're not loved or something along those lines. That's what makes somebody want to be alone, because the idea being that if I stay on my own, nobody can reject me or judge me or any of these things. And so you've got that going on for you, and that's what you need to heal. We all have something. And it's good to know what it is, but you'll be aware of this. You'll know that that's true for you. Suddenly my mother and father appear in the door. Okay, speak of the culprits. As a surprise, they have been invited to watch the show and me, and now I really don't know what to do. Should I sing on national television unprepared and just improvise? Yes, is the answer. Or should I cancel and postpone? And so this is like pressure. You don't want to let your parents down. So you feel pressure from your parents, or did feel pressure from your parents in childhood, and you put pressure on yourself in life. But you also want to be alone. So we know that there's something went on that makes you uncomfortable when it comes to the idea of being rejected or just doing something crazy and people not inviting you or saying you have to leave, that sort of thing. Not that that's ever necessarily happened to you, other than the welcome at the start of life that wasn't really glorious for you. which is what caused all this. But that feeling of not being invited is something that is what puts the pressure on you. And you don't ever want to do anything that gives anybody any reason whatsoever to not invite you again. Then you say, later on, I'm having a birthday party. So this is about birth. Any party is about birth, but the birthday party, obviously, to which I have invited someone. So this is why I was emphasizing the invited. So you're inviting someone, and we only do what we do in dreams because it's healing for what didn't happen for us. So this person is going to feel invited, which is you healing you for not feeling invited. And it is someone I've been in love with for several years and whom I couldn't have. We never became girlfriend, boyfriend. So I assume you couldn't have him because he's in a relationship or something, or married or something like that. So it's still interesting. You pick somebody you can't have. So if your thing is about being alone and keeping people at a distance so that you don't get rejected by them, well, picking somebody that you can never have is perfect, because they'll never reject you because you'll never actually get into that relationship. But yet you can swoon over them or whatever it is you want to do. And it kind of, in a way, solves your problem, but it really doesn't solve your problem because you still have the issue. But it's still interesting. And that's reality, of course. But that's what people with this issue do. They pick people who are unavailable. There's many reasons they do it, but this is it in your case. You say, I'm thinking whether he'll give me a neutral or a personal gift. I'm talking about him to a female friend whom I know from salsa, and she knows about this story about me and him. Okay, so that's fine. But you're still wondering what he's going to give you. And you don't actually tell us in the dream, so that's a pity. But it's all about like recognition, and if he comes along and gives you a gift and it's very personal, then he loves you. If he doesn't, if he gives you a neutral one, then it's kind of a rejection. And so you're analyzing all that in advance before it ever even happens. And that's what you do in life. You go through life analyzing, trying to make sure that you fit in, that there isn't any issue that would make you stand out, because if you stand out, you might be rejected. It's not happening. It's just, that's what's ruining your life. That analytical process that's always there and always happening. You say, later I am to take a bus somewhere. I'm looking for my bus stop and I have to go back to the bus stop that is a little further down the road because my bus goes from there. Okay. So there's two things in that. One is it says, look, you're not as far as you think along your path. And you need to go back to your childhood or go somewhere in the past, because that's where your journey starts from. So I'm going to say childhood because we have your parents and birthday parties in the dream. So you have to go back there, heal the issues to do with not feeling invited. And, your parents could have done everything that they could have done. It's not as much a reflection on them, rather it's a reflection on you not getting what you felt you needed. And that's what counts. That's what trumps. You not getting what you felt you needed. And so you need to go back and heal that, and that's going to help you and take the pressure off. And the pressure off is probably like, I need to perform in such a way so that I am accepted, or not rejected, or not judged, not criticized, etc., etc. But that's your big issue. Heal that, and your life just changes. It doesn't matter what age you are. When you heal that, your life for the whole rest of your life is just fantastic. You're connected with joy. You're connected with happiness. You really are happy to be on the planet. You don't need other people to accept you for you to feel fantastic, because that's that was wrong in the first place. When we love ourselves, we don't need other people to love us. And the irony is, when we love ourselves, then we attract other people into our lives who love us for who we are, as we are. It's the way the system works here, I'm afraid. But that's how we grow. That's the point of it. So let's have a look. Another dream. This is from Dave. Dave says, well, it's sent in by his wife. She says, he's currently a laid off bus driver since June. Yeah, COVID-19. That's why I have this wonderful hairstyle. This is my COVID-19 hairdo. I am called back to work when I show up to work the next day, just before 8 a.m. report time I was given. I'm told I was supposed to start at 6 a.m. and I'm late. I argue that I was told 8 a.m. on the phone. A supervisor shows me the roster that has my name at 8 a.m. crossed off and written at 6 a.m. On top of that, I'm told I was assigned to host some sort of radio show. Well, what a change. I further argue that I'm a bus driver, not a radio host. And now it's past 8 a.m. and in my head I'm thinking, this job isn't worth all the trouble. So here's the thing. His wife sent this in, so I'm kind of happy about that. Why? Because twice in this dream he says, I argue this and I argue that. If I was to tell Dave, here's what your dream means, guess what he would do? Did you guess that he would argue about it? Well done. You win a prize. You win a prize of being right. That's the gift. And so this means then it's harder to explain a dream to somebody like this. Another person whose dreams are very hard to explain are somebody who has black and white symbols in their dreams, because they see things in a black and white way. And it's hard to teach them something grey and say, well, this is partially this, partially that. They like it to just be clean. It's either right or wrong and so on. Anyway, so let's give the analysis. 8 a.m. is about opening your heart. The clock and the time say you're on the karmic path. So you're a little bit behind where you need to be in life. That's the way most of us are on the karmic path. We learn about ourselves through experience. And so you've been let go, and the dream is saying, what you need to do now, the radio host show, is saying, get into something where you use your mind, because you have a very special mind that allows you to project it onto other people. You would be good at something like hypnosis. This is what you're asked to move into, something like hypnosis, where you're using that special gift and you're going beyond the five senses, which is what the 6 a.m. is about. And that's really good to see in a dream, the 6 a.m., because it's about getting onto the dharmic path. So it's saying, look for something that you can do that now uses your spiritual abilities, particularly your ability to hypnotize or project or do absent healing. But I'm going to go with the hypnosis. But all three of them, when you have one, you have all three. And that's it. We are out of time. That's our show for this week. Thanks very much for listening and watching. And I will see you next week. Remember, go to dream-analysis.com. Send your dreams to the show, because I need them to make the show happen. Take care. Bye.